Oh, here we are again and again. Good to be with you. Good to see you. Let's talk about mercy today. This is part of our celebration of the fact and truth that God is our Father and we are His children. And this truth, if we wholeheartedly believe it, just transforms us. It is our salvation. How can that be? Well, let's just think about God for a little bit more. And 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 here's that line. Let us create mortal man in our own image. Now, uh, there's a lot to say about that. There's a lot to interpret. But when we are created, and the more we know God, the more we can realize the truth of these things. But here's God that's going to start us out at the bottom. Animal origin creatures, biologically evolved, yes, and divinely created. And yes, we've got more capacity, da 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 da. Not to mention the spirit within us that animals don't have, da 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 da. The subhuman, if you prefer, animals don't have. Ah. But starting us out as imperfect beings with free will that can mess up our lives and other person's lives. And yet that gift of the presence of God within. What an act of love, what an act of mercy to help us looking down on our condition because He knows what He's doing. The Creator is bringing us forward, calling us, inviting us to be perfect as He is perfect. And here's this teaching that's been reverberating in my life for the last week plus, heavy. Be merciful as your Father is merciful. The God of love and mercy. Oh, yes, our parent. And the more we experience that mercy, the more we feel in our soul that reality, that substance of mercy. And in that experience of the reality of mercy in our soul, we can commit to minister mercy to everybody, so to speak. Oh, I will tell you a personal story. All right, here's Jeff in his room, mulling over, ruminating how his wife has hurt him. And he walks out of his room into where she sits over her knitting as the sun comes in the window, and she is creating another gorgeous, creative, artistic blanket for a needy person that she will never see. When she's not serving in any other way, she's knitting these blankets continually. And I just have a vision of this column of light, this silo of divine mercy coming down from heaven and surrounding her. Oh! And of course, you can't help but identify with that and be totally caught up in this totally merciful vision of your life partner. this wonderful career. Yes, we all have our not yets, but mercy. Oh, and then I'm just soaking in that, contemplating it, wander into the kitchen. And then it occurs to me that mercy, I've never seen anything like it. That must be available to me too. And then shazam. Yes, there it was. The same quality. And what's a religious experience good for anyway? Doesn't last forever. Does something of that magnitude does stick in the memory, but it doesn't stay permanent in its awesomeness and in its transformative moment. You know, life has a way of going back to not quite the same, but you know, the experience of living mercy is a different experience. It's not just a, oh, look at that mercy. But the commitment, the commitment. I saw a politician on television yesterday saying our opponents are not our enemies. And I don't care whether you voted or not, whether you care or not, whether you are left, right, center, or all of the above and none of the above. I could care less. I love you. And but I saw leadership. I felt spiritual leadership at that moment. No, the wisdom of the man's policies, da 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 da. I mean, totally different question. But spiritual leadership was there to minister mercy after a hard-fought campaign. Think of Abraham Lincoln after the Civil War with malice toward none. Malice is that reactive, vengeful anger. I'm going to get back at you. And charity for all. That charity is an older way of saying love. What mercy in that attitude. As Abraham Lincoln is speaking with respect to the Southerners who have broken up the United States and plunged the country into disastrous war. He doesn't harbor anger. Love and mercy, that's spiritual leadership. May we all, in whatever ways come to us, do what we can to experience that mercy more and to accept it and believe in it and just absorb it and let it surge into us and transform us and do all its work of loving rehabilitation. Who does not need some more rehabilitation to cooperate with God in that growth that we need? So enough of that for today. Whatever's going on in your life and in our world, always know that you are a divinely created, infinitely loved child of God, indwelt by his Spirit. God is in you. God is in you. What mercy, what love is there, that you may go through the rough and tumble of this evolutionary process that we are in the middle of. All the bottleneck of change that the planet is going through, that you may thrive and let your light shine as a beacon in these dark and difficult times. For the family of God in this life and forever. Good day.